So to my guests, thank you so much for being on the show. How are you doing? How are you feeling?
I'm okay. Today been a great day.
Oh, well, great is good. What happened today, if you don't mind sharing?
Oh, I got my money back.
Okay. What you got, your taxes?
No. Someone owed me some money, and had to run them down.
Did
You
you
had to
beat
keep
some
your money in your pocket.
you beat somebody up?
No, I'm too old for that. I'll
Oh,
be
you ain't
50 in a few months.
you
And
be
we both
50?
old. Oh, you see two old people on the ground, and you had to help both of us up.
You don't even look like you about to be 50.
Yeah, yeah. I'll be
Ah,
in a few months anyway. I'll be
okay,
50.
okay. Well, if I don't speak to you, happy early birthday.
Thank you.
The fact that you're about to turn 50, like how does it feel sharing your story and what has been the most significant aspect of this of your story?
Um, what's like how I changed it's how I changed in my 40s.
Right.
I used to be so ashamed because you are taught to keep things in the family, don't talk to anybody about it.
Especially in the
um
black community.
yeah, and it just it makes, but that is what contributes to the depression and the anxiety, because that we keep it bottled up and make us feel as if that we had played a part in the abuse,
Right.
like that we did something, or my did or said something to cause it.
Right. Like
But
you blame yourself for it.
yes, when you have to keep quiet. um and I realized that no, keeping quiet is only helping the pedophile.
Yeah.
um and it causes, and when you hold things like that in, it can develop into mental illness.
Yeah. That's a fact. That's a
Hmm.
fact. You know, a lot of people who do have mental illness, some of that does stem from trauma.
Yes.
Hmm.
And keeping silent, no, no. And plus that, and keeping silent allows the pedophile to go from home to home or child to child abusing, you
Right.
know. And I want to know who's the pedophile among me, in my midst.
Right.
Don't protect them. They don't need protection. The child needs protection.
Right. And how long you been sharing your story? Like have you recently started sharing or
Just recently. Um, okay, maybe I can do this. Maybe I can share my story too. And plus watching other people's stories and make me feel like I'm not alone.
yeah.
And I even though I'm much older, but still the feeling of shame and fear is still be with you, even though you can live your life, but it's always there.
Yeah.
Um, but sharing my story, it helps. It
Yeah.
helps relieve stress. I didn't know that just talking about it can help you mentally and emotionally.
So you
And
just started sharing your story a year ago?
yeah, uh,
Wow. So
yeah.
40,
Well, less than a year ago.
wow. So you've been holding on to the story for 49 years.
Yes. Matter of fact, I just told my brother, well, about 2 months ago, about our oldest brother raping me and stuff. And you know, and and all that abuse. See, not all my family know about the abuse.
Right.
But my family members that live with me, but not the ones on the outside.
And what did your brother say about that? Because I was going to bring that up later, but since we're here, what did your brother
Oh,
say?
thing is, he was shocked. He basically like, for real, for real, he did that to you. My sister-in-law said that I wish I had known about this earlier, because that she used to beat him up when they were young, and she said I would have just beat him up more for you. Um,
Right. Wait,
so
you say your sister-in-law, so she's not married to the brother that was sexually
no,
abusing. Oh, okay, okay.
no, no. This is another lady. The one who sexual abused me, he never married.
Where is he at now?
Oh, where he should be, dead.
Wow.
Hmm. He died, but thing is though, he died a good death. He died from a heart attack.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. You know, when I heard your story, the moment I was able to catch my breath, you exposed something else, and I'm just like, this can't be real. Like, I
You
feel
know.
like from the age of 5 to
Mm-hmm.
maybe in your 20s, I feel
Yeah.
like it was just nonstop.
It was nonstop. And then when I allow myself just to think about my life, I'm thinking I'm surprised that I have a sanity.
Yeah, I'm surprised you're
But
still
look at this.
here.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
that doesn't mean that I didn't have trouble being here, because that 5 years old was when I first was molested, was also was the age that I first attempted suicide.
Mm.
At 5 years old. And I don't know what I know, how I knew about death and suicide, such, but I tried taking a lot of Tylenol.
You know what's so crazy? Did you used to watch a lot of I'm pretty sure you used to watch a lot of cartoons, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It may have came from cartoons. I had a conversation with this one of my guests, and she tried to commit suicide when she was a kid, and she took a lot of pills too. So I was like, and she was like doing all these interviews, and I'm like, how did she know to take these pills? So when I asked her, she was like, nobody ever asked me that. She said, I learned from watching the cartoons.
Really, that's probably what I learned it from.
Yeah, or she was just
Yeah.
like, I knew that if I was to stop, if I take one pill, it'll stop the headache. So she was like, I knew if I was to take more, maybe it'll stop me.
Mm. Um, I, I just thought about dying. I didn't think about no headache.
Yeah.
I
So
just
tell
wanted the pain to stop.
yeah. So let's start from the beginning. Tell us about your family life before the tragic incident. Because I feel like you had a good family, the way that you were describing it.
It was.
Yeah.
Before my mother died, she died also when I was 5. I lived with my mother and my father and my
Mm-hmm.
grandpa. My mother worked, my dad worked, and my grandfather lived with us. And
Was he sick or
my grandfather,
yeah, or was he just older?
just old.
Okay.
He was just old. Um, no, at that he did eventually develop diabetes, but that was years later he did that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but before then, it was just normal. My mama, she used to treat me like a little doll. I was her only girl. She had 4 kids, and I was her only girl.
Mm-hmm.
Reason why I know she did this, because that's one of the things that my auntie and my grandfather told me. Reason why they hated me is because my mother treated me this way.
Right.
And other people told me too about how that my mother always had my hair done and always had me in
But
these
you was a baby
different dresses.
girl.
She was just proud of her only daughter.
Yeah. What was
Yeah.
your parents' relationship like, your mom and dad?
From what I remember or felt during that time, it was good until my daddy wanted to cheat.
Right.
Yeah, because I remember, only reason why I don't remember the whole thing, but I remember little clips, and then other people filled in those clips for me. Is that when my daddy was screaming, and and then my mother was running towards him with something in her hand. So later on, with people talking about the event, then I remember, oh, okay, that what was going on. My daddy wanted my mama to stay home, because that they later find out because that he was meeting up with another woman at this place that my mother was going, and so he hit her, and so she got an iron skillet and started hitting him with. She hit him with an iron skillet. Then he took off running. Um, because he thought that she was just gonna beat him to death because it hit my mama and you're gonna get dealt with.
Right,
Even though
right, right.
she was a small woman, but she defended herself. But they said that's the only time they would really have conflicts is when he wanted to go see other women.
So was he always a cheater, or like, I mean, I guess
I
once
don't
a cheat
know.
is always a cheater, right?
Mm-hmm. But as far as I know, that was the only time he cheated. Well, I said, far as I know, but I'm
Right.
pretty sure he probably was meaning women, probably.
And do you think your mom knew about his cheating?
Yes. That's the reason why she died.
Well, before the incident, I'm talking about before then. Did she?
Yes, her and the lady, they had got into a physical fight before. And you know, people in the neighborhood, they would come up and just start talking about my mother, you know, telling me about it. I'm talking about, because no one said anything bad about my mama except for my auntie. But everyone else, they knew her. They said they loved her and how kind she was and quiet.
Right.
And they told me that then they were telling me about the lady who killed my mother. It's because that she was messing around with my daddy, and when she sees my mother, she would start picking at my mom. And my mama wouldn't say anything back to her. My mama would try to ignore her, just go ahead on her business. But I guess she got too close to my mama one time, then my mama jumped on her. You know, it's only so much picking you can tolerate. And they said that people always told that lady to just leave my mama alone. You know.
Right. So tell us about the day of when she killed her mom.
It was at night. My mama, I remember the night because I remember just crying, begging my mother to stay home. I was begging. I said, I want my mama. I want you to stay home. I remember, I don't remember the color of the outfit, but I do remember seeing one of her shoulders out and she having her hair done. And, you know, because you remember bits and pieces, but you don't remember everything.
Right.
But I remember that part. And then I was crying so much, wanting her to stay. And I remember somebody telling me to just shut up, stop acting like a spoiled child, whatever.
Right.
And my mother left out, and that's the last time I seen her. And then she went down what we call the hole, and she went to a house party. And at the house party they were playing dominoes, and my mother was just standing around the table just watching them playing dominoes that night.
Right.
And then the lady that Nadine, Lucille, and what we call another one we call Minnie Pearl, the three of them, they walked into the house they were in, and everybody said they had forgot that my mom was even there because she was so quiet. She just standing there looking. And then they realized she was still there when they started picking on her. And then and my mother, she's then they got into it, and they said that they told my mama, don't fight over Junior. That was my daddy. Don't fight over him. And she's and but at some point the three ladies left. And then when they left, and they said that more than one person told me this. They said that my mama said that they think she can have Junior. I'm going home, and I'm going to go home and take care of my babies. My mama did have a knife on her, and the knife she had when she got ready to leave, she threw it in the ground. It was still sticking up. It was still sticking up in the ground because she was disarming herself, and she was saying that I'm not going to fight. I'm not going to argue with these women. And she was done. She was through with it. She want my daddy. She gonna have it because she was planning on kicking my daddy out, just leaving the relationship. But the way it's set, the way the hole is set up, the lady, she lived down on the opposite end of the road that leads out of the hole. But in front of her house, the train tracks were over there, and she was able to cross the railroad tracks down the path. Because she I guess that she knew that my mama was leaving. And this is the only way my mama could get out is to go down this road. And she ran, those three ladies ran home, got a gun, and they crossed down there in front of her house. They crossed over to their path, and they ran down there and beat my mama down to the end of the road. And as my mama was walking home, they jumped out of the bushes. They jumped out of there, and the lady told my mama, "Don't you move." And my mama tried to walk around the three women, and that when she shot my mom in the heart.
Wow.
Mm.
That is, how do you know this? You just getting bits and
Because
pieces from everybody?
yeah, the people who witnessed this, because I asked.
Right.
Yeah, I knew Bradley is a small area, and I knew the grown people. I asked later on, like when I was 5,
Right,
but
right, right,
then I asked the grown people who were down there, because they were all living down there, and plus that my auntie, she owned another auntie, not the one I live with, but my auntie on my daddy's side, she owned the club down that way, and so they were
You
all.
you know this is given like a movie, right?
I I don't know. But
Just the way you're describing it, because I can picture it in my head, and then the fact
yeah,
that like if you was 5, so this was what 44 years ago, like in the South. I know exactly what you're talking about in the South, so I can just see like the imagery of it, of a woman walking down the street and 3 women in the bushes hiding,
yes,
waiting for her.
yes, yes. They ran down that path. That's exactly how they. Where I'm describing it to you is the way it was described to me.
So when you
By
heard
step,
it, how did that make you feel?
it it made me feel hurt that brought back the pain of losing my mama again, and then it made me feel that my mama was trying to escape from it. She
Right.
was she said she told the people that she was going to break it off with my daddy, and that the lady could have my daddy. That she didn't want my daddy anymore because my daddy messing around with a woman that's trying to harm her, and she
Mm,
has 4 kids that she needs to take care of, and
right.
and she was going to just leave that alone, because it wasn't the first time. Like I told you before, they wasn't the first time that my mama and these women got into all got into it. They always try to gang my mom. You know,
Right.
after my mama beat the woman up, you know, from then on, it's always been a group to go against her.
Right. But wasn't
Um,
your father messing with the mistress, the main mistress, messing with her homegirl?
um, thing is though, you probably talking about that the fact that other 3 ladies,
Right.
one of them is the mother of my oldest brother on my daddy's side. See, they were all cousins. They were cousins. And me
Oh,
and the
your
girl
daddy was
lived there.
different.
Huh?
Your daddy was different.
Yeah. He he wasn't kin to him, so he didn't care. He
Right.
didn't care. And evidently the women didn't care.
Right, because they cousins.
Yeah, they're cousins. When I say cousin, I'm talking about first cousins. Two sisters, children.
Right. So how many kids did your father have?
And all he had was us 7
So
from my mom and 5 on the outside. But the rest of them, they are much older. I'm next to the baby, and the next one is like 7 years older than me.
mm.
Yeah, 7, 8 years older than I am.
So when your mom got shot by her, did anybody see this?
Yes, yes. When see when they seen the women, this is what they told me, when they seen the women, a group of them start running down the road. They were running down the road. They were screaming, telling them to, cause they thought they were trying to gang fight my mama. They
Right.
didn't know that they didn't know she had a gun until they got right there up there on them. And by the time they reached up there, that's when she shot my mother. And then immediately my uncle from my dad's side, he was there, and he and a couple other men, they loaded my mama up in a car. Instead of calling the ambulance was like 15 minutes away.
Mm.
The hospital they took my mother to, is 45 minutes
But
away.
why did they do that?
They said this was their explanation was. Um, they thought that they could make it to Hope quicker than the ambulance, since the ambulance had to come. It was
Wow.
stupidity, because my mama didn't die until they got in hope.
So
So
she was alive for 45 minutes.
Yeah, by 45 minutes. That means that she bled out. She didn't have to die. My mama didn't have, because they took the ambulance could have came in 15 minutes and stopped the bleeding.
Do you think they did that with good intentions?
I think so. Because I said one of them was my uncle, and they were close, and I don't know. Because I'm thinking like they didn't know the basic concept of first aid, that the paramedics could have rendered first aid to my mother, and my mama was still alive all of that time.
Right.
And, she died in my uncle's lap, and my uncle said that the last thing she said was to tell daddy to take care of my babies. And she died.
Wow.
And then when they arrived at the hospital, the doctor pronounced her dead right there in the car. She was still in the car.
Wow. So when did you find out that your mom passed away? Like, who told you at the age of 5? Like, did somebody come to the house, or
the sheriff? The sheriff came to the house. Came to our house the next day, and I wasn't standing. It was we had an open floor plan, and I was standing in the dining room part, which is far away from the living room door.
Right.
But my older brother, I have an older brother with my mom who's 2 years older than I am. He just started crying and hollering. Then my auntie, she came up in there, and that's when, because my grandfather was the one that answered the door. And everybody just started hollering, crying. I didn't understand what was going on.
I mean, yeah, you were 5, so how could you?
Yeah, and then I heard my auntie say that they killed her. They killed her. I didn't understand. Really, I did not understand what was going on. And when we went to my mama's funeral, I thought my mama was just laying up there asleep. I didn't understand there was a coffin, because she was laying there asleep, and the white stuff just looked so comfortable, and she looked like she was just asleep. See, I was used to seeing my mama asleep during the day,
right?
She worked at night,
right. So when did it finally hit you?
It finally hit me when I kept asking my grandfather, where's my mama? Oh, I didn't say, I called him Marynell. Where's Marynell? When Marynell coming home? Because I thought that after the funeral, I actually thought that my mama would be home before we got there. Because that I was there saying, why Marynell here asleep with all these people walking around crying around her? And at the funeral, a woman walked up to me and she said, it's okay to cry. I didn't understand why she thought I was going to cry.
Right.
I just wanted my mom to get herself up and come on here. Other words, denial.
Yeah.
Yeah, denial. Because I'm pretty sure I probably knew what death was, but I didn't want to accept that this is what I was thinking.
Or maybe you didn't. Maybe you really thought she was asleep. Especially if that's the first time somebody that was close to you passing away.
Yes. And then when I asked my grandfather about it, he would always say, well, she's taking a loan now.
Right.
She's going on a trip. So that further confused me.
Yeah.
But everything I do with death was, I probably just never seen death.
But that close. Yeah, that could be it too.
Yeah. And because that after I was molested and the weight of my mother wasn't being there, and my dad, because that when my mama died, I lost my dad too, because he abandoned us.
Well, wait, what happened to the mistress? Like, did she go to jail, or?
She went to I don't know if she went to jail. I can't tell you definitely, but I do know she got 20 years probation.
20 years probation? For
not jail time. She didn't get jail time.
yeah.
She pleaded out, and the judge gave her probation. She got
Wow.
probation in 2000.
Oh,
And
so is she still alive?
yeah. Last place I know her to work was in Children's Hospital in Little Rock. And
Wow.
matter of fact, I was at the Children's Hospital for some reason, and I went inside the cafeteria.
And you saw her.
Yeah, she rung up my food.
Did she recognize you?
I don't know, but I didn't recognize her, but my brother did. And my
Mm.
brother told me. And I wanted to go in there and just act a clown, but I didn't. Well,
Wow,
and
that
then,
is
then again,
crazy.
then again, he didn't tell me until after we left anyway. So then,
Because he knew you was gonna
no,
beat her ass.
I
Or
probably would have
maybe
tried to kill her. I don't know. It's not, you don't know how
you
you
never
would try to
know.
kill.
Yep.
Yeah. But I know I was hurt to know that this lady up here ringing up my food that I bought in the cafeteria. And of course, she didn't say anything. Of course, she didn't act like that. She knew me, you know?
Yeah. How did she look? Did she look the same to you? Well, probably not
I
because you
don't,
didn't
I didn't
recognize
remember.
her.
No, I didn't recognize her. And my that's and that was one of the conditions of her probation was the judge told her that she must leave Bradley and she can't live in Bradley. That's a condition of her probation too. But
Mm.
but my auntie and one of the ladies that was with her when she killed my mama, they got into a shooting match. Um, yeah, the lady was shooting.
What?
Mm-hmm. Um, we were living in a duplex, and we live in one of it. The lady, two of the ladies were over there in the middle part. We was up
Right.
living outside, and then my auntie had a rifle and she had a pistol. And for until they tore it down, you could see the bullet holes. They tried killing each other,
What
shooting
y'all
it.
be doing in Arkansas?
Um, they because my auntie, she tried to kill her. She tried to kill the lady who killed her sister.
And this was recent?
No, I'm talking about at the time.
Oh, at the time, at the time. So
Yeah,
wait, how did your dad handle everything? Because I know you said that he abandoned y'all.
I don't know. I don't know, but I know that he married another lady that he hasn't even met just a few months after my mama was dead. He probably married her within like a couple months, so he didn't grieve.
Mm.
Um,
Did y'all ever speak or like what's your relationship like with him now, if he's still alive?
he died in 2008, and I didn't have a relationship really. Um, when I turned about 10, his wife forced him to come and pick me and my brother up.
Mm-hmm.
See, he only had just two children by my mother, and she made him come and pick us two up for holidays. But before then, he didn't have anything to do with us.
So he never spoke to you about anything.
No,
Wow.
no. One time when I was like 14, I brought it up. Then my stepmother, she cut me off. Let me know that, don't talk about that. And then she tried to put my mama down, a woman she never met, a woman that was dead when she started messing around with my daddy. And she talking about Junior, he don't like dark skinned women anyways. He like light skin.
Mm.
But my daddy had two kids by two different light skinned women. And
Right.
he had a baby by three dark skinned women. I mean, two dark skinned women. And so my daddy, he didn't. I guess he didn't say anything. He just looked at her like, why are you saying that kind of look?
Right, right,
But he didn't say anything.
right. Mm.
He didn't say anything. And you know, and my daddy was a light skinned man. But so what? but what I was thinking at the time when she said that, she was trying to that she was putting my mother down. And
Right.
um I had developed a habit of not saying anything.
You just
I
started to
just
become
wouldn't talk.
silent.
Mm-hmm. I had went years without talking.
How
When I
many
was
years?
I probably went by a good 4 or 5 years without speaking.
At
Unless,
all?
yeah, unless somebody forced me to say something. For example, people, I wouldn't even tell people my name. I wouldn't tell people anything. And the teachers, they eventually stopped calling my name because they know that I wasn't going to speak.
When did you start
Um,
doing this?
I started doing this probably when I was like in the second grade. Um,
Wow.
because that the abuse got so bad for me
Right.
that I sort of checked out of reality.
So at this point, you're living with your aunt and your grandfather, you and
Yeah,
your three siblings.
yes.
And was she only mean to you or was she mean to everyone else as well?
She was mean to everyone, but I was the main one.
Right.
Um, the boys had to truly do something wrong for her to beat them. Cause she didn't
Right.
give us whoopings. She gave us a beat down.
Mm.
And she would beat our grandfather. I watched her beat my grandfather with a hammer. And I
What?
wit
Is that her dad?
yeah. And I witnessed her I can see it, her running to the kitchen, grabbing a knife. My grandfather laying on the couch. I think he was watching Gunsmoke or something. Just out of nowhere, she just went in the kitchen, grabbed a knife, and went over there to him and just grabbed his arm and just started cutting in my grandfather's arm. Um,
What do you think was going on with your aunt?
um, she was on crack. She was a crackhead and stuff, and a drunk.
Well, well, there you go. It was the drugs. Have you
Yes.
ever remember her being not being on drugs and doing and drinking?
Mm-hmm.
And how was
When
she?
um when I was grown,
Right.
it was after she had went to prison and stuff. Um, when she wasn't on drugs, she was a total different person.
Right.
When my auntie wasn't on drugs, she was the kindest person that you would want to meet.
Mm.
She was, I mean, she stayed off of drugs for a long time when I was grown. I gave birth to my son when I was 18, and she was
Mm.
the only one there for me. Can you believe that?
You know what's so funny? I can. Don't don't be the main ones.
uh, I mean, because she wasn't on drugs,
Yeah.
and and she was the only one of the family who came to the hospital and visit me.
She probably was
And
trying to right her wrongs.
yeah, she did apologize when she thought she was dying.
Mm.
I didn't take the apology seriously. No, because said, you apologize when you're not in the hospital.
Right. So where
Um,
is she at now?
she died in 19. She
Mm.
died from a stroke.
2019. Wow.
Mhm. Yeah, what? Just before the pandemic.
Yeah. And did y'all ever have like a conversation or that was it?
That was it about the abuse. No, she apologized. Well, she did apologize again. She did apologize again. Um, but then again, I guess that I wasn't accepting the apology because it was just
Right.
too much. It was just too much. But she did make me feel good when she started when during the time when she wasn't on drugs that she treated me with motherly love. She treated my
Mm.
child with deep love. Um,
So is it safe to say you forgave her?
yeah, I guess I don't know. I don't know. I guess I don't hate her, but I still hate the what happened.
Right.
Um, because she she gave my body to me.
Well, wait, before we get there, because you was living with your aunt at the age of 5, and that's when the abuse started.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to go through every story because I feel like I don't want to like is this when you tell your story, is it re-triggering for you?
Sometimes.
Yeah. So I want to be mindful of that. But how many men would you say took advantage of you?
Oh, I never counted. Um, it probably good close to 10
Mm,
that I can remember. You
right.
know,
And
that
have you
can.
ever ran into any of these men as a grown up? Because you still live in the same place you grew up at, right?
No, I'm living in Hope now. I don't live in
Okay.
Grant. Um, I confronted one of the men about what they did to me, what he did to me. And I didn't, when I confronted him, I wasn't expecting, like, I'm sorry or apology or nothing. I just told him, I remember what you did to me when I was 7 years old.
And what did he say?
He said, I don't know what you're talking about. Then I said that he molested me. He didn't exactly rape me, but well, sticking your finger into a 7-year-old vagina, there is rape in it.
Right.
And he just looking at me, and he just stood there looking and stopped talking, you know. And then I just left it at that. Because I just wanted him to know that I remember what you did. Don't say, because I wouldn't speak back, but he was like, speak to me.
Right. Was this the man that when you was laying with your brothers, he came on top of you and your granddaddy was acting like he was sleeping?
No, that's my Amy boyfriend.
I thought
That's
that was crazy because the fact that your grandfather was acting like he was sleeping and you saw it, I was like, wow.
But that wasn't all the time. The dude that I confronted, I was by 7 years old, and he would come over to our house,
Right.
and he would come and pick me up, and he would sit right there in front of my grandfather, and we was like less than this table, I say about 3 or 4 feet. This table I'm sitting at about 3 or 4 feet wide. We were sitting there close, and he would put a blanket on top of us, and he molested me in front of my grandfather.
But do you think
Um,
your grandfather was scared?
he probably he probably was scared, but what prevented him from calling the police after he left?
Right.
And plus, that why did my grandfather blame me for it?
Mm.
My grandfather said that happened to me. That man did that to me because I was fast. This is a man who came in my house, came and
Right.
picked me up because I was a kid, and he picked me up off the floor. And you didn't say anything.
Right.
Um, Another time, the same man, he came up to the house. I was in the kitchen, and I just heard a knock on the door. And I didn't hear him say, this is LB, whatever. But my grandfather turned around and told me, you know exactly what he wants to do. Go out through the back door. That's the only time he did something to try to protect me. Telling me that I know good and well what he wanted to do, and to run out of my house. Because I was just
Wow.
coming out of my bedroom.
You know, when you hear your story, because I'm from the South as well. So when you hear your story and when you share your story, how often do you hear similar stories that's similar to yours that's from the South? Because I feel like this goes on a lot within our community, but I feel like it also goes on a lot in like these smaller towns in the South. And I'm pretty
Mm,
sure it's all over the world, but just being from the South, especially being like you're a dark skinned woman, being called fast and like
mm-hmm.
it's just it's insane.
Um, as I've grown up, no, I knew several kids that was raped by boyfriends or by uncles. I even knew boys that were raped.
Mm,
So even boys are not safe.
yeah.
Um, for example, my baby, I'm gonna say this because he doesn't watch stuff like this, but my baby brother was raped by my oldest brother,
Mm.
and
Is this the same
um
oldest brother that sexually
they
abused you?
raped me. They raped me. Um, he raped my baby brother, and he told, and my auntie forced him to say another boy actually raped him,
Wow.
because that she forced my brother to say that another child raped him because she didn't like that child's mother.
Whoa, that is crazy.
So that child got sent off. he got punished, legally punished. And I just found out in 2000, my brother just told me in 2009 that wasn't true. He said, we was over there to my trailer, and he said, do you remember that time when I said that Pig raped me and Pig got sent off? He said, Pig didn't rape me. Leon did. Pat just made me say Pig raped me because she didn't like Curly B.
Wow.
Curly B is Pig's mom.
That is, wow, that is crazy.
So you can't even even though the child was raped, could be raped or molested, you still have to wonder whether or not somebody else is making that child point at a different person, you know?
Right.
But I did see Pig because but I went and told his mom what my brother told me. And I told her that, that Pig didn't do that. I let
What did
her
she
know.
say?
She lived like cross town from where
No, I
we
said,
were.
what did she say? Like, how did she take that?
She was just holding back tears and didn't say nothing. She was, how that some people just she just cried. She didn't ask me questions and nothing. She would just cry, just cry.
And where's her son at now?
Pig. I don't know where Pig is. He's not in jail or anything.
Mm.
But he was some woman, knowing him. He's a womanizer now. He's not a rapist, but he's a womanizer.
Do you think your brother sexually abused any more other kids?
Yes, I know. Because they say so. As far as I know, I'm the only girl. The rest of the kids he raped were boys.
Wow.
And then I found out when I was like 18, a little bit before. See, I didn't find out that he was the one who raped my brother that time. But I found out years before then that he raped other little boys. Because the grown ups knew about it.
Do you think something happened to your older brother?
No, he died from a heart attack walking to Walmart.
No, I'm talking about just like, you think somebody sexually
him?
abused him?
I don't know. I didn't talk to that boy, he did that to me, and I can remember. See, we originally from Nacogdoches, and
wait, where you from?
Nacogdoches, Texas.
Oh,
we're
okay.
originally from there, and so that's why I didn't know about the older siblings, because they were all from the Bradley area, all from Bradley. And I had been molested many times before that. And I thought that when I found out that I had an older big brother, I thought that he was going to be my protector. That reason why I put myself in his presence.
Right.
Then I guess that shattered my world, knowing that he didn't only touch me, he actually took my virginity.
Wow.
Yeah. The rest of the men, they would finger me. To this point, they would finger me because he started raping me when I was 7.
Right.
And then the probably reason why that my auntie started allowing men to rape me is because she already knew Leon raped me.
Right. How are you feeling with all this? Like, do you go to therapy? Like, how do you?
I go to therapy.
Okay, because this is a lot to unpack.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, do you ever just sit down and just be like, especially with you about to hit a milestone of you turning 50, like you got to be proud of yourself for just like being sound mind and just surviving. No, seriously, because this will have people like going crazy.
I don't know why. I don't know how I'm able to I guess because when you going to therapy and stuff, I learned terms for my behavior. I disassociate. I don't it's like that it's happening to me, but it's really not happening to me. It's happening to I'm That happened
Right.
to Shay. That happened but not to,
Right.
you
Right.
know. Um, and I'm in a stage where I'm trying to comfort,
Right. Heal
you
your
know,
inner child.
yes. Because it feels like that sometimes I be like up in the high corner looking, you know,
Yeah.
like in high corner looking that somebody's hurting, and I can't do anything. I can't say anything.
But does it hurt you that you can't do anything? Or does
It the hurt that I feel is the hurt that I carried since then. It seemed like that pain, that hurt, it hasn't went away. It's just something that you learn to cope with.
yeah, that's a fact.
And you develop. I'm not talking about multi-personality, but you do,
You just learn how to deal with it.
yeah, because you have to separate that person from the rest of your being.
Right, right,
You know,
right.
even though that person's always there, that person always pulling. That child is always crying. That child always wants safety, and it causes you to behave in ways that you didn't understand why you behave in a certain way.
Yeah. You got to
You
get
know,
to the root of it.
yeah,
Because sometimes your brain would also protect you from certain things so you won't get triggered and you won't act a certain way.
yes. Um, that's how I deal with it. Put it inside this box.
Compartmentalize
Yeah,
it.
yeah, and 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 when I get triggered, um, I don't have to talk about it to
Right.
for that panic to come in. Um, it just this happened, you know. Then I'm thinking like, gosh, Lee, it just so much trauma, build up on trauma. It was no relief for it,
Right.
you know, because when I got older by 10, a man, we called him cow, that's his, people call him cowboy. Right there in front of my grandfather, in front of my auntie, he just leaned over right there in my face. I'm not gonna mess with you because you talk too much.
Mm.
Oh, I got a beating for that.
So when did you realize that your aunt was selling you to all of these men?
See, in my bedroom when I got raped in my bedroom, I in my little mind, I thought it was monsters, right? I didn't realize that it was actual men. That's when my mind connected with actual people. When my auntie had a baby and she forced me to take care of that baby, and I was getting up at night fixing the baby bottle, and I
Mm.
walked into the kitchen. My auntie was standing there with a man. With her, I knew that was her boyfriend at the time. His
Mm-hmm.
name was, and she said, "There she go. You can you can have her. You can get her." And he looked at Pat and he said, "Pat, I don't mess around with children."
Mm.
She was trying to get her boyfriend to go in there and have sex with her. And then one of the in my mind I'm still saying monsters, but one of the men actually came into my room because that's when I started sleeping on the floor because
Right.
I started putting the baby in the bed with my grandfather, and I would sleep on the floor under my bed to hide. And a man came in there. I don't didn't recognize his voice. So he said, "Pat, she's not in here because he's coming into my room." And I would just see the feet, and I didn't say anything. Uh, And and my auntie just started, beating me, talking about that I talk too much and I act like I'm too good for people and stuff. She was talking about I was talking about that's why nobody wants you, no man wants you. Now, imagine
Wow.
telling a 9 and 10-year-old that because you talk too much and because you act like you're too good, that grown men don't want to have, don't want them.
Right.
You can, imagine how confused I was that why would I want a grown, I didn't understand, even though, you know what, just because a child is molested or it's raped, doesn't mean the child understand what sex is.
Yeah.
It
Yeah. A
doesn't mean,
lot of people don't even have the language when they're going through something that's so traumatizing.
Yeah. So if I was able to put two to two together, I was able to put two together much later in life.
Right. Especially during that time. Like the language that we have now was definitely not available
Yeah,
40
to a
years
kid.
ago. Yeah.
Hmm.
How has this experience like shaped your understanding of relationships and family dynamics? Like, because I know you have your own kids, but like, I'm pretty sure it got to be hard for you to not only not just trust men, but to trust people in general, right?
You know what? Right. Right. Um, I've been
Especially men. Ugh.
um I've been celibate for 20 years now. I refuse to let a man touch me, even though I've been married twice. And but I even told my my first husband that I'm gonna stop having sex with you. I don't want to have sex with you, and I would pay a prostitute to have sex with you. But I'm not gonna have sex with you because
So
I
you didn't
can't
have sex with
stand.
your first husband?
I did for a little while. When I say little while, I mean little while. I'm talking about like a month or two. I'm not talking about years because I couldn't stand it. I couldn't stand it. It seemed like that is what balance to me. You know,
Mm. Yeah,
it wasn't
you didn't
pleasure.
enjoy it.
No,
Yeah.
no, it was balance. And I only had sex with my second husband once. I can't. So I just ended. And if I can't stand for a man to touch me, why stay? You know.
Mm.
Um,
Are you going
and
to work through that in therapy? Or do you want to work through that in therapy?
um, you know what? It's hard to find a good therapist. That's the reason why I'm able to speak about it because that is mostly just talk therapy. It's not solution based. What helped me to be able to share my story with other people is because I'm watching therapeutic videos
Right.
of therapists online. They help me more than the ones I see in person because just talking about it without reframing it, that's I learned those terms from. It's
Well, I
from
have a good
watching
therapist
videos.
if you want one. My therapist, I've been going to her for a long, long time. And I get like when people need therapists, I always recommend her because she's a Black woman. She can speak the way that we speak. She understands where we come from, and she has definitely helped me a lot. So if you're interested, I can definitely introduce you to her.
Yes,
Yeah.
if I can, because that what I was just thinking in the last month or so. I need to find someone who, because one of my therapists, I had to try to convince my therapist that a 9 years old child does not want a grown man. You know, because that it was a male therapist. He said that, the he just made the remark that she a child like that could have a crush on a grown man. I said no. They
Child.
don't even know about that.
Right.
You might have a crush on a celebrity, someone far away from you, but if a child have a crush on a man, it's not going to have a crush on a man that they can see and touch. It's going to
Yeah.
be some type of like Michael Jackson or somebody like that. You know what I'm
And even
saying?
if a child does have a crush on a grown person, that
And that's
child doesn't
sexual.
know it's not sexual. There you go.
And that's sexual. Uh, um, I had to explain to the therapist that um, you're a grown person is deflecting what they feel upon their child.
Right.
You know, mm,
Was
you
it hard for you to have a baby?
um when talk about what you talk about her getting pregnant.
Just the
Um,
thought of like you just having a baby, because I know you don't really enjoy having sex, but like, so just a thought of like everything that you went through, was you afraid to have a child and in fear
um,
of something similar, or like just them not you not wanting them to go through some of the things that you went through, or just anything in life?
yeah, that's why I stopped at one.
Mm,
And I would have gotten pregnant by that with that one. It wasn't for the fact that um my baby daddy, he flushed my pills down the toilet. And
mm.
um and then when I went to the clinic to get some more pills, they made me wait like a week or so, and I was pregnant by then.
Were you
And
mad?
was I mad? I was unfeeling. Um,
Mm,
only emotions that I could feel were angry. Was hurt. Were hurt. I couldn't get angry. I still have a
mm,
problem with anger. I have delayed emotions. Um,
mm.
like just say someone does something to me or say something out of the way, it would probably take me days, weeks, or even years to even get mad about whatever they said or did.
Do you think that stemmed from your childhood?
Hmm. I've learned that that's a trauma response with not feeling emotions.
Yeah, just going numb.
Yeah, numb. I was I call those years I was the walking dead.
Mm,
I was just here going off for autopilot. Um, but I refused to have another child, and I
mm.
didn't. Um,
Are you close with your child now?
oh yeah, oh yeah. Yeah. Even though I didn't have feelings, I couldn't love. I couldn't do, but I still had instinct, you know.
Right,
Um, and I still, took care of him. And by reading magazines and books, I knew what to say or what to do with my kid.
right.
But it was like reading a how-to book and just performing, but not feeling because I
Right,
was unable to,
right.
you know.
When you was living with your aunt and as you got older, was there ever a time where you just wanted to harm them?
Matter of fact, the the night before I left, did I said I had got a knife and I had because she would make me sometimes sleep in the living room with her, and she had two kids at this time, and I had planned on when she went to sleep, I was going to kill her, her two children, and my grandfather.
Mm,
But um, and that's all. What made me want to kill her, decided to kill her, is because that night she gonna look in my face and say, "I bet you can eat some PUSSY."
she was gonna make you eat her out?
Um, I don't know. Well, that was what she told me, but I knew good and well that I would die before that happened. The reason
Wow.
why that I had said to myself that I had to kill this. I'm gonna kill her. But I'm not a natural killer. So something in me told me to go and lay down, go to sleep. See, usually she would have me up 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. Even though I had to go to school the next day, she would have me up waiting on her or just listening to her or just staying up at night with her. Um,
Wow.
but this particular night, she said that to me, but when my that ended forcing me, told me to go lay down, go to sleep, it was probably like 10 o'clock. Never
Mm.
went to sleep at 10 o'clock. And she didn't bother me the whole night. Even the kids didn't bother me. I slept all of that night. And that probably was the first time I was able to sleep through the night since for at least 6 or 7 years. You know.
Wow. Do you feel like
But
spirit? Oh, go ahead.
go ahead. Oh, I was gonna just say that, the next morning, that's when I started to feel the joy a little bit.
Mm,
Because that I knew that that was the last night I was gonna spend in that house. I
mm.
was I was 16, and I didn't care if I had to sleep in the road, in the ditch. But after school that day, my school counselor called DHS, and DHS was trying to make me go back home, and he said no. Then find out that the whole school knew about it. They knew about the abuse. My abuse wasn't a secret.
But why do you think nobody did nothing in all this time from 5 to 16?
DHS wouldn't do anything. Because it DHS did come and talk with us when I was like in the 5th grade. And the DHS told me I was fast too. Mrs. Collins,
Wow.
she told me I was fast.
Imagine how many girls were told they were fast when they didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, because I wasn't the only girl. Don't think that my beast was something unique in that time.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm
Um,
saying. Especially in a small town, like, especially the
girls were
fact
getting
that you're,
pregnant. Girls were getting
yeah,
pregnant by their dads, having
yeah,
babies by their uncles.
yeah. Do you feel like your spirituality or your faith played a role in all of this, especially when it comes to
Yes,
your healing process?
yes. My faith taught me that um this is not all it's going to be. That God is going to get rid of the wicked, and that um just have just have just help me to work towards peace in my heart. I'm
Mm,
trying to work, but I lean on Him and to try to keep me propped up, you know, to keep
right.
me to keep me from going insane. Because that having faith in God gives you hope, but it doesn't take away the pain.
Yeah.
It helps you to deal with the pain. It doesn't take it away.
Do you ever question God?
Um, no, by His existence.
No, just by like, why all this happened to me? Like,
Um,
or were you ever
no,
angry
not in
with
that.
God?
No, because that you know what? It's funny that I never thought that God did. No, that's a message that people would that the church has taught me, that this is God's plan, that
Right. Everything happens
God
for a
is
reason.
testing you. I never believed that. I never believed that a loving God would do this to you.
Right.
I never believed that. I never believed that this is some type of plan. Because that look at all the people in the world,
Right.
and everyone go through something.
Mm-hmm.
God, a loving God does not think of ways to make your life harder.
So what do you think it was?
I but see, when I was still that had happened when I was young. A lady in the neighborhood, she did make me read that Bible, and from my understanding from the Bible and speaking with her, that like in Psalms 37 is 9 and 10. I remember those scriptures because that she made me read it. That God gonna get rid of the wicked, that the righteous going to possess the earth. So it just telling us to wait a little while longer, that we're going to see
Right.
what we are. So I believe that. And I believe that when Jesus said that those in the memorial tomb are going to hear his voice. So I knew that things were happening because that God's time to make it all in hasn't come.
Mm.
It's just like that. This way that I guess that they explained it to me, whatever. That to make my little young mind, like that, if a parent leaves and go away, and they give their children instructions, but it's up to the kids to obey the parent while the parent is gone. But when the
Right.
parent comes back, the parent is going to set things straight. Well, I'm waiting for Jesus to come back to set things straight. And plus,
Mm.
he has a parable like that too, about the rich
Right.
man leaving and stuff. Um, so so I just know that it's happening and that God isn't causing it, but I know something is causing it.
Yeah.
People, people are just, wicked.
Yeah.
Are just wicked.
Yeah.
Because come on now, um, doing bad to children.
Yeah.
No God is going to say that. I'm letting this happen to you for a reason.
Right.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
That's true.
um, so I'm so thankful. Her name is Tunel. We call her Tunel. That's not her name. Um, I'm thankful that she and Sister Jones they used to when they see me walking on the road or whatnot, they always share the scripture, and because my auntie used to curse the Bible,
Mm.
and my grandfather he told us when he was younger age, that he used to be a member of a traveling gospel group, singing gospel group.
Right.
But neither one of them ever taught us about
Mm.
it. It was those
Wow.
two women in the neighborhood. They always go around talking to people about
Right.
it. Yeah.
And last but not least, how do you honor the memory of your mother?
Um, hmm, I never thought about honoring her memory. Um, from what people told me about her, it's just taking care of your kids,
Mm-hmm.
working for what you have, and don't fight over no man.
Yeah.
If a woman come up and talking about she want my man, she can have him. And I say that I'm not fighting, I'm not arguing. Um, I'm gonna let her know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get his clothes, I'm gonna throw it out.
Right.
No, I never had a woman to do me like that, you know, but I just saying that um when a man cheats, I never confronted. I don't confront men about their cheating ways or whatever.
Right.
Um, you know, just go. Just go. Because
Yeah.
I'm not emotionally attached in the ways.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I'm pretty sure that a lot of people are gonna be touched by your story, and just to see that you're still here, you about to turn 50, you looking good, you
Oh,
staying true
thank
to
you.
yourself. Yeah, like I'm really proud of you, and I'm happy that we connected so we can get your story out because I do believe that it's important for us to share our storylines because you just never know how it can be someone else's lifeline. So I really do appreciate you.
I realize that.
Yeah.
This is other people's stories help me.
Yeah. And to the
Mhm.
listeners, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please make sure to reach out to me at hello@thephgpodcast.com. And until next time, everyone, later. You're not going to say bye?
Oh, goodbye. I didn't know.